Hey guys, it's DC, and welcome to the Soap Sanctuary, where all soap lovers are welcome. This is my Sanctuary Reflections, life lessons learned from soaps. So in today's Sanctuary Reflections, my title for this video would be The Perfect Time Doesn't Exist. I was thinking about, I always gotta find storylines to relate this to. I always happen to find one for some reason that usually pops in my mind and makes me think about these topics. That's why I had to do these videos. It was inspired by Albert's Blue Light Confessions. But I think back, I don't know if you guys remember from my Young and the Restless fans, back in, I think it was 08, 07, when Nikki Newman ran for mayor of Genoa City. And she was going against Jack Abbott, I believe, at the time. And this was during the whole David Chow days. You guys remember Vincent Irizarry, who played David Hayward on All My Children? He then went over to YNR to play David Chow, which was then later revealed that he would be the guy who murdered Carmen Mesta and Jimin Kim, which I feel like they just did that last minute because the writers didn't know where that was even going. But the point is that at that time, Jack decided to bring to light Nikki's stripper past. And Victor, at that time, was just like, Nikki, do you believe this is a good time for you to be running for mayor of Genoa City? And then Nikki said, when will the time be right? I was a stripper some 60 whatever years ago. Not 60, probably some 34 years ago. When will the time be right at this point? You know what I mean? So Nikki's like, I'm just gonna pursue it anyways. And David Chow was her biggest support at that time, supported Nikki. Sometimes I think about my own situation right now, guys. As you guys know, I'm in grad school right now, and there's a lot of challenges that I face. And I will say this, I don't ever believe that there's a perfect time to do something. I believe there's an aligned time, but there's never a perfect time. There's still some things in the situation I still have to figure out. I mean, going into graduate school, I was like, man, thinking about so many things like lodging, how I'm gonna pay for things, time management, all those different things. And while I do have, I think, a good solid core foundation, a lot of things, and some of those things I just mentioned, I'm still figuring it out along the way. I have no choice but to. And I also realized that people who were also in my shoes before me, they had to figure it out too. Everything wasn't there in a silver platter. They didn't have all the money in the world. They weren't making $8,000 a month to pay for grad school. Those things weren't happening. I remember even years ago when my family and I finally decided to go to Disney. We live in Florida, obviously, right? And I said to I was talking to my mom about it. I was like, do we feel like the money is there to do that? And my mom was just like, we've been living in Disney for 18 years. We've been living on Disney. We've been living in Florida for over 18 years. If we don't go now, when the hell are we going? It's just like people who live in New York and they've never been to the Statue of Liberty, and they've got an excuse every reason why they can't go. Work, bills, this and that. And sometimes those things, they're just always gonna be there. They're not ever gonna go away. And so that's something I kind of thought of, like, if there's something you've been trying to do for the longest time, for years or months, and there's all the excuses in the world. Now, don't get me wrong, don't be trying to out here maxing out and overdrafting your account trying to go to Dubai. That's not what I'm saying. But if you see that there's constant excuse, sometimes you just have to take the plunge. There's no perfect time to do stuff. Even when I started Soap Sanctuary, I was like, man, I don't have the right camera, I don't have the right lenses, I don't have the right this to the channel that I thought, I saw other YouTubers do. Not necessarily Brock TV or Albert, but just YouTubers in general. And I realized I don't need all that stuff. I'm just come with me and my creativity. Most of my videos, the intros, the graphics, all that stuff you see on my channel, it's all been done from my phone. And it's all been done with free programs on my phone. That's it. I don't make it more complicated than that, because it wouldn't be sustainable at that point. And for me, that's what I wanted to do with my channel. There's no perfect time. Things are not going to necessarily look perfect. Most of these soaps you see, they're on a budget. You see them using the same 5 sets 18 times, Days of Our Lives, using that same office set as the courtroom, as Bayview Mental Hospital, as the Spectator, as Titan Industries. They be using that same office room. You notice that? They're on a budget too. And that's another thing I noticed too in grad school is, like, I'm not on social media, but I'm sure there's some grad students making some, they're living the life. when they're probably living off of student loan refunds doing that stuff. So it's like don't get caught up in that stuff sometimes. But sometimes the perfect time doesn't exist. It doesn't even have to even do a school with anything in your life you're trying to do it yourself. The perfect time doesn't really exist. When I started doing Soap Sanctuary, like I said at the time, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, my mind was like, man, like, is this the right time? Do I have the right things? If you look at people like Brock TV has just been sitting in front of his phone for 10 years doing this with his 8,000 subscribers now. He doesn't even do half the stuff I do, like the intros and all that stuff. He just keeps it so simple, and it's been working for this man, okay? It's been working for this man, okay? Brock TV is like, I feel like the Sonny Corinthos of soap YouTube reviewers. He doesn't do graphics and all special effects. Do you notice that? He doesn't. He just uses what he has, and that's it. And that's it. And now look where he's at. So sometimes in life we try to make things so complicated. Even with me, Soap Sanctuary, when over these past year and a half, I realized I had to dial some things back. I love my creativity. I love what I bring to my channel. It's me. It's my personality. But I need to do things in a way that's manageable, sustainable for me. You know, even doing Sanctuary Reflections from time to time, it's another way I can stay connected and do this channel. But a lot of times, there's just never a perfect time to do stuff. You know, in my mind, I'm like, damn, like, I'm going to grad school now. I'm about to be 30. Man, there's people in their 80s coming back here. For real. You know, the school that I go to, which I'll never say the name of it, I found out that there was someone who was like 73 years old. He got his engineering degree. Why not? I don't want to be one of those people who say time is illusion, but time is what you want to make it to be. The problem is in life is that people like to put themselves on a schedule. And one thing I learned is, I'm a very spiritual man of faith. That's the way I see myself, is God doesn't run on a schedule. That's why there was that whole quote, if you ever heard through the years, man makes plan and God laughs. Like, we like to put ourselves on a schedule for some reason. And nobody has ever been able to adhere to the schedule. Nobody does. Let's just be real. Nobody has been able to adhere to the schedule that we like to put ourselves on. There's never this perfect time. Even Nikki Newman, she had all the reasons in the world not to run for mayor of Genoa City, but she still ran. I think she lost in the end to Jack. But she also had all the reasons in the world to run. Maybe we needed somebody like that. Nikki is really stuck up, though. She needs to remember where she came from. But she had all the reasons in the world to run, to show that she could overcome the things that she came through, that she went through. So honestly, that's my whole thing. It's like, there's never this perfect time. It doesn't exist. You know, I applied to grad school, and I've said this in multiple videos. I only had a 2.0 when I applied. The requirement was a 3.5. Mind you that. And I had to go take the GRE to compensate for that, which the GRE is a graduate readiness exam. It's pretty much like the SATs to get into grad school. Let's just put it that way. And I said, I'm gonna take a chance on myself. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Okay. I even went through a consultant at the time. The first session was free, and so I didn't pay him nothing. But he was like, because he sat on med school admission boards and stuff like that. And he was like, well, listen, I'm gonna tell you something. If you was my son, I would have told you to go to your local college, take some courses, bring that GPA up, and do what you gotta do. And that actually wasn't bad advice. But I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not singing now for another year. I need to get something going with my life. I don't want to be working at these places I've been working. I need something different. And I applied, and I got in. Maybe because I'm the only black person in the program, too. That might be a part of it. But I still got in. I still got in. That's the important part, right? But my whole thing is, like, I realize there's no perfect time. I got to do this. When is the perfect time? When is it? It ain't happening. I still not making $4,000 or $5,000 a month like I'd like to. At least not yet. So it's just like, when is the perfect time, you know? And I remember even talking with Albert of Bostic Enterprises, of Albert Bostic channel. We were talking about how, like, sometimes it's like, just do what you can do. Maybe I can do 5 days a week doing Soap Sanctuary, but I could do this from here and here, time to time, and that's okay. Maybe I know for a fact that if I was doing 5 days a week reviews, I would be at probably I would already surpass the 1,000 subscriber count at this point. I would have surpassed that by now. I know I would have. There's no way I wouldn't have. There's no part of me that doesn't believe that I wouldn't have. But that's okay. That's not the path right now, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. But like I said, there's no perfect time. You know, I have family members that are actually now in their 70s, 80s, going back to school, people pursuing things, their dreams. It's hard not to put yourself on a schedule, and I understand wanting certain things aligned. There is an aligned time There might be a perfect time. Because if you ask me, do I feel like this is a perfect time? No. But it's an aligned time because of how things are there. And I trust that God will have resources there when I need them to happen. That's what I mean by aligned time. So it may not look perfect, but then it's your perception of what perfection is. Perfection doesn't exist. The perfect time does not exist. It doesn't. And what is the perfect time? And to be honest, if things were always perfect for us as people, we wouldn't grow. You don't grow when everything is good. Even in a relationship, you don't grow when everything is good. That doesn't mean you need to take abuse and cheat. That's not what I'm saying, okay? That doesn't mean you need to take everything life throws your way. But you don't grow when things are good. You don't. You don't grow when things are good. You grow when things are challenging. You're challenged and you grow from there. But anyways, guys, that's my video, guys. My Soap Sanctuary Reflections. The perfect time does not exist. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Stay tuned for scenes from the next Soap Sanctuary. This has been Soap Sanctuary.